What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 28 of my Total Warhammer 3 Ikit Claw Immortal Empires campaign. So as we saw last time, we had the debut battle of our thus far not quite complete Eshin army, though at least they have their, a decent amount, I should say, of the units specific to them, and we'll get a few more, and then the army will eventually be complete. I do still think that they need to have some snipers in here, as even though the snipers are Skryre units, I do feel like they do fit in with the whole Eshin concept. And now this army is stuck here for a little while, and we will see if Karl comes back, but I do believe his faction has no armies remaining, judging by the balance of power. In that light, we may want to actually move him up here to attack Emil von Corden up here, the force belonging to the waste. What's the name of this faction? Oh, it's just straight up Marienburg. Okay, fine. Yeah, we'll send him up here, perhaps, because we are going to declare war on these guys next turn, as we are beside Arnau and Marienburg itself. Now that, however, is not as important as the fact that we are going to get a debut battle with our MORS army at the Skull Island next turn as well, which I'm pretty excited for. Also, between the episodes, I took a little bit of time to do some diplomacy off screen so that we didn't waste too much time doing so. And in doing that, I decided to I decided to ally with the Warherd of the Shadowgave and the Warherd of the One Eye, both of the Beastmen factions. Now, generally speaking, I try to always avoid allying with the Beastmen, but in this particular situation, we do like them and they do provide us useful stuff, so I think we're going to try to keep them around. Hopefully they don't get us into too many absolutely insane wars, but I suppose we'll see. We also have a potential battle coming in here with the Drong Oathkeeper still outside Kirik Norn. I am excited about the prospect of having a garrison defend against the full stack, so maybe we can get a nice battle out of that. Anyway, let's see what else we have to do this turn before proceeding to next. Shife. Shife. Yes, you had a good time against Raponce, though you no longer have an emergency nuke. I feel like we should have you go for the Vulture Mountain right now. And I know I was going to send them potentially to Kofur, and we do want Kofur, but the thing is, if Corporal is coming down here anyway, he'll be here in 2 turns after that Skull Island. So even if these guys all land there, we should still be able to attack them, even without Shife having to take care of it. So I think Vulture Mountain is the way to go, but let's just in case move everybody else, and then we'll proceed. Ronan, you were a newly summoned disciplined plague priest, and we are going to keep you around. Wait. 15, 9, 10. Huh. I swear the money changed when he moved, but okay, never mind then. I guess it doesn't matter that much. Alright, you stay there, little guy. Packmaster, Warlock Engineer, we do have a new one available to us, though I guess at this point maybe we want to put one in an army rather than just oh, there's another discipline one. Put one in an army rather than just send one out to establish more undercities, especially as we still don't have that cooldown reduction building that comes out of Skaven Blight. Speaking of undercities, you keep going up north, Ratmek. Zapspark, you need to establish an undercity in Conquata, because it's always going to generate decent amounts of cash, and if these guys are going to be our defensive allies, oh, they have it. We can't. Wait, can we? Huh. Oh, I guess it doesn't interfere with, it only interferes with our own outposts, not other outposts. Okay, that's interesting, but I'm glad that we can still do that. Lovely. Shife, we will skip you for now. Let's keep moving everybody else. Bell Farmer, you need to find Clan Pestilence, but also, I think we'll send the Bell Farmer around this way to go through the sea lane. There's a sea lane down here, yes. And we'll send him to find Clan Eshin that way. Oh, look, it's the Awakening. Or the Awakened. And they are quite friendly with Clan Pestilence. The Followers of Nagash will be attacked by us, so they probably won't appreciate it, but, well, we want that territory. Slice and stay here, keep farming. Bok, you can keep assassinating, though there isn't too many more enemies here. I guess you can move this way to try to annoy the other Marcus Wolfheart, and I believe that's it. Alrighty, let's attack. Let's see if that'll give us enough food to go into green before we upgrade any more buildings here. We will have to apply our points, however, and ooh, we got Envoy of the Council. Definitely, yes, we want relationship with other Skaven. And with regards to what else we can get here, Character or leadership effect plus 10. That's pretty good. Plus 10. Okay, that's actually fairly considerable. You know what? Let's get that. Let's get that. As we saw the last battle, we really are banking on things not routing. Yeah, okay. We also will need to get some Plague Monk Sensor Bearers in this particular army. Now, you, Plague Priest. Let's get you Evasion. We're trying to get Pestilent Birth on all of you guys first. And, well, I guess all the other stuff as well, but Pestilent Birth has to take priority. And Evasion for you as well, buddy. And then you, Mr. Packmaster, you... Rank 14, we got rank 9 on the Tide of Death upgrades, which means we're holding on to the points to upgrade them both at the same time. Alrighty, let's hit up Vulture Mountain. Doesn't look to be generating a lot of cash, but it still seems to be worth a decent amount of sack value. And it is going to be a valiant defeat according to this, so I guess we'll fight it. They do have 2 paladins, which are going to be very concerning. But we do have bombardment superiority, as well as 6 menaces below. Alright, well, another battle for Shaif. He's hurt this time, but I have faith in him. Hopefully he can steal that Banner of Eternal Flame while he's at it.
Most good, maybe. I fought bravely, not like others.
Alrighty, here we go. Time to see what Shaif can do in a battle against a foe where the garrison is joined by an actual army, unlike the Al-Haik battle where it was only the actual garrison itself. Now we'll have to deal with 3 Flying Lords, including a Prophetess who can cast spells from on high and a couple Paladins, which is why we are going to have to make sure that we keep the Warplock Jezzails out of trouble so that they can snipe all those down. Now, speaking of knocking things down, we are going to obviously start the battle by destroying these dwarfen towers, who are covered in plaguey ectoplasm here. Plague residue, whatever. I don't want to know. And both of these towers will be down fairly quickly. Wait, these do count as separate towers, or do they count as one tower? Huh. I think these are separate towers, it's just that we targeted them both at the same time, so they went down roughly at the same time, which is what confused me. Anyway, 2 towers down, 2 more to go, and then the bombardment of the units inside the settlement can begin, though we will be starting to move our units out fairly shortly as well. And I'm going to speed this up a little bit, because frankly, we've seen bombardment of Plague Closet towers enough times to know what it looks like, and we'll join the battle and watch that in a few. We're also going to be starting to spawn the Menace below as many times as it takes to knock out their only unit of field trebs. It's fairly difficult when the enemy actually reacts to this, and react to it they shall. Looks like an Awakening of the Wood coming down on our clan rats, who are already in scurry away and are going to now get charged by units of foot squires and tons of knights, unfortunately before they can bring down the field trebs. Luckily though, we do have more uses of the Menace below, 5 more uses, unless I'm mistaken, so we should be able to get that artillery piece out eventually. 3rd tower has gone down at this point, and now we're working on the 4th, whereas 2 of our other catapults are actually going to start bombarding the enemy units within the settlement. We're assuming, of course, that they can actually reach something. And maybe this little arrow tower in the middle of the settlement as well, though it's not super critical. Alrighty, there we go. Ooh, wow. Single shot takes like 20% HP off a foot squire unit. That's pretty good when these things can hit, and that's without them having significant buffs like they would in Ikit's army. I'm pretty happy with that, and I'm pretty sure I just saw a few knights die to that shot as well. Yeah, alright. Can't be underestimating the Plague Claw catapults, I guess. I remember that they were very much changed in SFO, and wasn't it like a single unit became 8 of these, and then they did a lot less damage but fired a lot more shots? Something along those lines? And I think they had another contact effect added, though I could be confusing it with something, or maybe an older version of SFO. Anyway, those changed Plague Claws I didn't like as much, or at least they weren't as effective, it seems. Whereas the vanilla ones are still pretty damn nasty. I mean, foot squires have 70 armor, and the fact that they can kill knights errant is pretty damn good, considering that they're catapults and not warp lightnings. Anyway, the fire will continue. We're also going to start working on that arrow tower a little bit. Ironically, they don't seem to do that much damage to these built-up towers. In fact, I'm almost certain that they do either as much or possibly less damage to these than they do to the towers on the outer wall, which is kind of interesting. It might also be due to the inaccuracy of the things and the fact that it seems like quite a few shots are missing. I wonder how much damage these things would do to Grail Knights. Maybe we'll see, maybe we won't. Anyway, the bombardment continues as more knights are brought down by catapults, and the door is currently being worked on by our command rat squad, which is now broken through, which means we can move in and start vermintiding the place real nice. In a few seconds, though the bombardment will continue, and I'm sure it'll be killing a lot of our vermintide units, that's obviously not really a concern. Here we go. And the foot squires are met by summoned rats, though of course we're going to move the command squad in to actually physically fight the enemy as well, just because they can knock out models. Obviously we can't expect the vermintide rats to actually do any damage. They're mostly here to hold ground. Really need to get the brood horror mount for our packmaster, though. He seems fairly fragile. And we can't have that. Alrighty, well, it looks like the enemy unit of foot squires and the knights are running away a little bit. They didn't like fighting with our command squad, so we're gonna give chase until we meet the next unit of foot squires and move further in. This will allow us to then move in our plague, or poison wind globadiers rather, while the plague claw catapults continue to provide support fire. Nice to watch clan rats fight, though, especially since we don't get a lot of this. At least we won't until we get the clan rats that we're currently building into, I want to say, Morphific's army. Not 100% sure what that's going to end up as. And now it looks like the clan rats are down, so we're going to need to get a few more, though the poison winds have arrived, and they should be providing quite a bit of fire support. There we go. And there's, what, a unit of foot squires here, and I do believe more knights are coming this way, including Grail Knights. If we could destroy those with the poison winds, that would be just lovely. Though once again, the effect makes it impossible to see exactly what the heck is happening. As we can see, our Packmaster got a little bit of damage on him. We really could use that Brood Core with the regeneration, couldn't we? And there we go, the Grail Knights are here, and we're going to redirect a couple of our Poison Winds to continuously fire at them. 2 units of Poison Winds are going to hit them, and a single volley does an insane amount of damage. Ah, you gotta love these units. They're so cheap and so effective. Granted, they kill a lot of your units, but we don't care about that when we got the Vermintide, and just like that, a few volleys out and the Grail Knights have been absolutely destroyed. And this is without the anti-large buff that these guys will get via our workshop as well, or the additional physical resistance buff. Well, it looks like the enemy's going to land its paladins in the hopes of killing our Plague Priests, or possibly our Packmaster. We will continue Vermintiding to keep the enemy back while the bombardment never fails. And we are now also moving in not only our Poison Winds, but also our Jezzails, who are going to specifically target those Paladins, as we don't really have any other way to kill them. The Poison Winds, not so great against smaller models like that. Fortunately, the Jezzails are extremely nasty, and that Paladin is basically dead already, and we're able to switch targets to the next one. Their HP just drops way too fast. Gotta love it. And the Poison Winds continue destroying everything behind the line of Vermintide, and that is a lot of affected enemies. Glorious. And just like that, I believe the second Paladin is also out of there. We only have 1 unit, I think, of Clan Rats remaining in the fight, but I do believe we have plenty more summons remaining. The balance of power has shifted very much in our favor, and the enemy's lost about half their army, or at least getting close to half their army, in a few seconds. And we have also, I believe, been able to finally destroy that Trebuchet with our latest summon of Clan Rats, so we don't have to worry about that either. And the Prophetess is still a concern and could potentially cast something on us, but if they're going to waste spells on our Clan Rats, then we don't care. I'm being quite effective so far. I love how our armies are effective in different manners, i.e. it's completely different in the way that it functions from Ikit's army, which is what I really appreciate. And I'm hoping that, while all of our other armies are going to be sufficiently different as well. That's what makes it fun. Alrighty, and the Poison Winds moving in. I really gotta get on getting those upgrades for the Poison Winds, though, considering we use them in many armies. And oh, look, one of the Paladins has come back. Bad idea, buddy. Sniped out of the air and almost crushed one of the Poison Ones as he fell. You gotta be careful with that, though I think maybe because he's a smaller model that might not have been successful. Looks like the Prophetess is still unreachable. I did try to target the Jezzails to try to kill the Prophetess, but unfortunately it looks like the bridge blocks the hits. Oh well, not a big deal. And it looks like we've got a little bit of a fire exchange going between the pox arrows of the peasant bowmen and our poison winds, mostly because we've run out of summoned clan rats. At this point, though, our command squad is moving in, and more plague rats. Well, I guess they're all plague rats, but because this is the plague army. But clan rats will be summoned to once again make a new front line. Although I gotta say, the fact that the units just disintegrate so quickly is a little bit annoying. I mean, I feel like they could have, maybe there should be like a buff in the skill tree that increases the time that it takes before a unit starts disintegrating due to being a summoned unit. It doesn't necessarily have to be removed, as that might be a little bit too powerful, but at least to increase the time would be swell. And I know that there are mods that completely remove the disintegration time, but once again, I'm not entirely sure that's necessary, as we've seen just how powerful the ability is. It's also fairly cheap at, I believe, only 5, I want to say, a mana cost, so when you have a full 100, you've got so damn many clan rats available for you. Alrighty, well, it looks like the battle is getting close to the end at this point. We've also started pushing out this way as well. Our Jezzail's still trying to snipe that Prophetess who's just flying around dodging sniper shots. We do have a unit of Poison Winds that was trying to move in and kill a few of these archers, but unfortunately they couldn't reach them, so we'll have our Plague Claws take care of it as they've moved in. Actually, the Plague Claws are nearly out of ammunition. I think this is one of the first times. Ooh, Prophetess, are you in range of the Jezzails now? In range of a few, at least. Although, once again, it's still hard to get those shots up. And not a big deal. A unit of Knights of the Realm has tried to come down, but unfortunately has once again met with a new unit of summoned clan rats, and just like the Grail Knights before them, will get absolutely obliterated by our Poison Wind Globadiers. And there we go, and just like that, the battle's over. I do believe at the last second the Prophetess fell out of the sky. Oh, no, actually, she just got routed, together with the Knights, I guess. A close victory, apparently. I am not entirely sure why, because I'm not actually sure that we took much damage at all. I assume it's because of the ammunition lost by the Plague Claws and probably our Poison Wind Globadiers, because they did a lot, in combination with the mana spent. Still, pretty systematic and pretty effective, I should say so. Or I would think so. Yes. Damn, we took the sword instead of the banner, but, well, oh well, what can you do? And now I am pretty darn happy with the result. There are 17 losses. Extremely minor in terms of the damage we took. Vermintide has a lot of value on the field, but it has even more value in these sieges, as we don't have to commit our regular troops to storming the city, which allows all of our range units to get to work. So, and good job, Plague Priest. We are going to obviously sack the place. Hopefully we still have enough range to take it over afterwards, though I guess that remains to be seen. Let's find out. There's that sort of strife, and did you move too far away? You did not. Okay, now the question is, do we need to take this at a higher level? Vulture Mountain is a it's a capital. I'm kind of actually tempted to take it to tier 1 because it's not really threatened by anything, and we already invested in the Eye of the Panther and Al-Haik here, which should shore up any weaknesses from getting attacked from this way when we inevitably declare war on the Cult of Sigmar. So I think in that light, perhaps we just leave enough leave well enough alone and keep Vulture at tier 1. Alrighty. Well, let's do that in a second, though. Oh, wait, actually, if we keep it at tier 1, we don't need to invest any food, so let's just do that, then.
Let the bell scream, scream.
Loot and occupy, please. There's absolutely no point in leveling, taking anything at tier 2, because it's so quick. Let us immediately grow. Yeah, let's collect the income a little bit, but something. And then let's get expansionist planning for further growth. The place should be up and running fairly quick. Now, that is done, I guess we're going to turn to the buildings such that we have left, so let's do that. Axbite Pass, blah 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 blah. Doesn't look like a lot of buildings there. There we go. Carcassonne, yes to the Dyes, or the Cinnabar Mining Pit. Yeah, sure. Expensive, but sure. You gotta get more pack masters up and running in various armies, and we do have a Molder army to build still, as well. Ubersreich and Eilhart, which of you is more likely to get attacked? Probably neither of you are super likely to get attacked. Let's go with Eilhart first. And Groia. And Groia. Good. Southern Grey Mountains. Karakazgaraz, you're building another clan armory, because we need more chieftains. Yes. And you're gonna start building a breeding stock here as well. And we'll replace the growth with more breeding stock here as well later on once this thing is sufficiently leveled. I suppose we could just build the... do we actually need defenses here at all? Is what I'm wondering. Like, is this a waste at Grimhold? We could always replace the growth with the defense. You know what? Leave it here. We'll replace the growth with another one of these things later on. We don't necessarily need to do it right now. Alrighty, and I believe that's all the buildings we have left to build. We have a decent amount of money saved up. The Black Pit to you are not going to collect income. Neither are you. Let's keep a few places in positive growth, or positive relationship, or control. And just so that we can get those growth bonus, and just to recheck everything, I think everything else is fine. Alrighty, looks good to me. Let's skip the rest of that. Outpost upgrade available. Oh yeah, that's still these guys. And we're still probably looking to betray them. But once again, we could probably blow these places up with Undercities. Let's just hope that these Undercities spread to them without too much trouble. Alrighty, and I believe that's it. Let's end the turn, like... So, I'm just checking where we could potentially get attacked, if anywhere, and I don't think we can. I don't think any of our armies are in danger. I suppose the Skaven army might. This is probably the most likely to actually have something happen, so let's watch Carrick Norn instead then. Also, I did have a thought with regards to what we do about the Great Orthodoxy up north. We can send Chargelock up there to take a few of their territories, and then simply trade them all to Throg for a military alliance. He'll help us. We can't ally with the orcs, since the orcs and the dwarfs are gonna go crazy and spawn everywhere. And you guys have said in the comments of the last episode that... Ah, look, we're heard of the one that's gonna attack Sylvania a little bit earlier than I would have liked. But I guess we have to, don't we? Oh well, I guess you've predicted what we want to do, but nonetheless. Alright, fine, enter war inside of ally. And that was what I was talking about with regards to the danger of allying with the Beastmen, but whatever. You know, for once, considering I never ally with the Beastmen in basically any campaign, just do a little bit differently there. Alrighty, settlement besieged Carrick Norn, and I was correct, these guys did attack us, but they will, I guess, build their siege towers first, so we gotta let them. Ensure product quality is available. The range upgrade is very significant here, both on the Poison Wind Globadiers and the Warp Fire Throwers, a little bit less so on the Jezzails, and fairly decent on the Rattling Guns as well. Under City Established, Bay of Blades. We don't care about this one because we're probably either going to take Bay of Blades ourselves and trade it, or otherwise we will trade it to Throg, or Throg will take it himself. So, nah, don't care about you. Now that we're suddenly fighting Vlad, we have to be wary of him attacking us. Also, one of the bad things about that having happened is the fact that the ogres are not fighting him, and we did want the ogres to fight him.
Welcome. Sit by my side, and let us...
I was just wondering if we could pay him off to peace out and then redeclare war in 10 turns, but it's okay, we will deal with it. And the dwarfs are still here, so we can't really leave in terms of morphific, so you're gonna stay here at Migdelv and Galbarak. I guess our Eshin army has to basically immediately get to work. I didn't want to take Kemperbad, but it looks like now we pretty much have to. Talabayam and Kemperbad are... wait. Where... nah, they're up here. They still have Castle von Rauken. I was trying to figure out where exactly the Empire still had forces. Still fairly high. Anyway, let's get ingenious plans. Ingenious plans. And hero recruit rank for Warlock Engineers, but reload time reduction for Plague Claws and Warp Lightnings. It definitely sounds like a yes to me. I also like the armor upgrades for all of our weapons teams. And yeah, basically everything here. Honestly, the Skryre upgrades seem like by far the best upgrades. Just ensure product quality and enormous caches alone are pretty damn great. A lot of the other stuff for a lot of the other clans seems just kind of inferior. Like, weapon strength and charge bonus. Well, the charge bonus for Rat Ogres is okay, but they could really use a little bit of a melee defense or armor bonus instead. And the same with the Hell Pit Abominations. They're quite strong already. You're not really... your upgrades aren't doing much for them. I do like the upkeep reduction on the Night Runners and Gutter Runners, but we don't have a lot of them. And I'm just checking if there's anything good that we can get shortly. Hit and run, 10% more speed, that's actually fairly decent. Might go for that after we're done with the Skryre stuff. And let's see, just to plan out a little bit of our upgrades. Oh yes, the melee attack and defense for Stormvermin, that's a nice upgrade, but you gotta go fairly far to get to it. And diplomatic relations with all factions is not bad, mostly because it helps out other relations with rats. And of course, the ultimate experiments give us more growth and income from buildings. This one's great, but we can tech towards it through plans within plans, and thus we need ingenious plans anyway. In fact, we can start teching towards it pretty much immediately, if we really wanted to, and the growth will help everywhere. Alright, we'll have to keep an eye on that. Now, let's see who else needs to do things. First of all, Ikit. It's your time to shine, my friend. You can hit Marienburg. Let's have you sack it first. Oh, we need to actually declare war on these guys, don't we? Are they allied with anybody? Just Kurun, who we're already at war with, so that's irrelevant. So hit Marienburg, please.
Chief Warlock, Ikit Claw.
And call your allies to help? Sure. Alrighty, looks good to me. We can auto-resolve this. This is a pathetic little defense. And auto-resolve, yes, and we will sack it first. And we're going to try to take it to tier 5, maybe. We are at green now, so we have to build buildings first, though. Alrighty, let's get as much... oh, whoa, what is this? Hello, Nestor Ipatiev. A full stack belonging to the Great Orthodoxy. So you're telling me that despite the fact that the Great Orthodoxy is at war with a bunch of factions they're bordering... oh, wait, they've peaced out with Throg. Oh. Are we their main enemy now? Oh, that's interesting. They're at war with Molder, who is also beside them, to be fair. They're not at war with Ferric. They're at war with the Ecstatic Legions, but they can't bring down the Tower of Crack. Okay, well that's interesting. You know, in that light, this will probably be going on for a while, so let us build another Undercity spreader here. I do wonder if there's a secret internal cooldown, or maybe not so secret, and maybe I just don't know it. Is anybody aware of an internal cooldown to the Undercity spread? As in, can it spread by itself multiple times per turn? Or does the game establish like a minimum amount of turns that have to go by before an Undercity spreads, regardless of how many Undercity spreading mines you have everywhere, if that makes sense. Anyway, establish Warlock Laboratory here at Conquata, please. These guys ain't gonna be too happy about it, but whatever. Let's see how much they hate us for this. There we go, Under Empire established, and... they don't hate us that much. One hero action, not a big deal. Alrighty, and then we got a new lab, which means more research, more hero capacity for Warlock Engineers, and... we will immediately go for the Thieves' Hidey Holes here to get more cash from these guys. And we will immediately have to go for deeper tunnels, especially considering the fact that these guys are allies, so we don't really care about the vision anyway. I'm actually shocked that the elves have not declared war on us yet, but pleasantly so. Okay, we will deal with them when they declare war on us. Well, let's continue. Charge lock. You're gonna immediately take our now, though I'm almost tempted to move you down here to deal with this, but if Ikit... I guess Ikit can deal with it. What's the likelihood that this guy can take run without sieging? Pretty low. This is gonna come up next turn, and he can't siege it. Yeah, we're fine. I think we're fine. I hope we're fine. Alright, charge lock, away you go, buddy. And I forgot to check what the sack value of this place is, but I guess it doesn't matter. Auto-resolve this. And yeah, 5k, not bad. Make more cash, and then take it for us. At tier 1. Good. Ooh, we gotta be. Ooh, we definitely have to be careful with that. About that, every settlement you take increases the, or decreases the percentage that you have if the food doesn't match. So yeah, that's dangerous. Bok, go and assassinate Marcus Wolfheart. Wow. Okay, that's not likely. That's really not likely. You're a higher level than him, and you're an assassin. This is what you do. Why is this so unlikely? Did you succeed last turn? No. This guy on guard? No. What the heck is going on here? Huh. Okay, wait, what about if we look at you? Much higher. I guess you are level 2. Okay, well, I guess you could try leveling by doing this. Wait. And you're maxed out on Specialist as well. I guess another point in Assassinate. And you failed that anyway. Damn. Come on. This is what Eshin is made for. Alright. Let's move everybody else around. First, Shife. Now, let's take a look. These guys have not fully attacked Kofur yet. Oh, that's interesting. That's very interesting. They are going to next turn, but that's fine. And is it me or are they missing a full stack? Huh. I guess we could send Shife all the way out here. Or, wait, we should be close enough to Lashik even if we just stay in our own territory, but move like right there. And then we can hit either Lashik or Sorcerer's Islands next turn, presumably when we declare war on these guys as well. Just declaring war on everybody around. Now, Corpable, you're gonna hit that Skull Island in a second, which will give us more food and more money. But I do want to take a look at anybody else who moves, because I like to spread out the admin and stuff. Alright, you, Mutant, you can hit Kemperbad. You're still a little bit hurt, but not so much that it matters. We need to advance, and we also need to see everything that's going on out here. Auto-resolve this. You'll give the Wailing Banner to yourself, and you're almost level 13, which means we should soon be able to replace you with a with an Assassin Lord. Auto-resolve, yes. And you got a Tormentor Sword, very, very nice. And sacking's not worth it. We're gonna loot and occupied. Hopefully this doesn't drop below green. Don't screw us on this. Okay, now good. And there's that Tormentor Sword, though you probably won't be holding onto it. We'll put that in another army that's a little bit more ranged inclined. Kemperbad, you don't need to collect income, and we'll delete that non-growth building. Rubbish pile, rubbish pit, close enough. And then you will start working on Vlad's stuff. Alright. You really jumped the gun, Beastman. Now, we have all these undercities, so we're at war with this guy, which means we will probably have to delete them shortly. And I guess we can replace them with a bunch of Vermintides. Question for you guys. I actually never used the Vermintide the last 2 times I played Escher. I think the last one was my Snitch campaign, and I don't think I ever built this. So, does the Skaven army that this summons, does it belong to you, or does it belong to another little minor faction, like a little rebel faction? Because if it's a rebel faction, it's completely useless. Also, the problem with this is the fact that, if we sack a place with one of those armies, it won't be very helpful, will it? Because they won't have sacking bonuses like our other lords would. Which I'm not sure I like very much. Subterranean Strip Mine gives you army ability, Warp Bomb, yada yada yada, trade tariffs, raising settlements, plus 300 from raising. We could build a subterranean strip mine in a few of these places, like Castle Drakenhof. I do wonder what it'll be worth for raising if we do that. It's certainly tempting. I'm actually kind of tempted to start building a few of these everywhere for more trade tariffs, but we shall see. There's also the warpstone refineries for the upkeep. And the thing is, it's starting to feel like we may be better off just building these than bothering with trying to find all the expensive places to leech money off of. I'll have to think about that. Anyway, I think that's it with all the armies. Let's have Corporal have his debut, shall we? Does he need any items? I'll give him a Warlock Augmented Magical Weapon, I guess, for now. Everybody gets Warlock augmented weapons. We'll figure these items out a little bit more at some point. The Shroud of Dripping Death goes to Molder, but you can have an Artifact Hunter. Don't need Breeders, we don't need... Well, you can have a Man-Thing Slave, I guess. Just because. Honestly, it feels like there's a very limited amount of... Oh. Looted a settlement with a large army? I guess we don't loot settlements a lot, because I feel like we should have more of these scribes. Also, recruitment cost -10 is fairly significant. But then again, so is the movement range, +8. It's pretty good. Damn. Alright, I guess you can have this for now. I was thinking of putting that on one of our recruiting lords, but apparently you're gonna need it more. Armor of Fortune, we'll save that for Shife, most likely. You can have a Shield of Talos, and I believe that's everything that you can use, yes? Sort of anti-heroes, another magical attack thing. Yeah, alright. That's fine. You can have a Potion of Foolhardiness in case you're out. You know, have a Luckstone, and... You know what, I really don't care that much about the Potion of Foolhardiness. Fuse those. And what did you get, an Ogre Blade? I don't particularly like Ogre Blades either, but I suppose that if you're on a Bone Breaker, you may get some value out of it. But would you get enough value out of it to be worth using over something that provides magical attack and a little bit of attack? Somehow I doubt it. We might fuse those as well, but we'll do so later because now it's sculling time. 'Tis a word, I swear. Alrighty, you will face a foe in battle, of course we will, and this will be the debut of our MORS army. And ooh, 3 giants versus 3 rotting leviathans. Oh, I like that very much. Yes, please. Okay, this should be interesting. What's the HP comparison? 12k, well the giants have more HP and I presume quite a bit more splash damage, but they're meant to be infantry blenders, not single target killers, so should be quite interesting. They have more melee attack, but fairly considerably less melee defense, and a third of the armor on top of that. Very interesting. Let's get this going. Do we need the menace below? The enemy does have mortars, but I'm pretty sure the warp lightning cannons outrange them, so probably not. You know what? Let's try to save the food.
Good.
Alrighty, here we go, the debut of the MORS army, though currently the front line doesn't look very MORS-y, because it's just Warplock Jezzails and Warp Lightning Cannons. I also notice that the giants that are part of this army are green, huh? Were the giants always green, or is it because they're Beastmen giants and they're like forest giants? Huh. I don't remember. But I love it because it matches our whole color scheme, and now it feels super appropriate. And I am very excited to have them fight. And our MORS battle lines, this is the first time we are seeing a lot of storm vermin on the field. I believe we've got a couple defensive battles where we actually had garrisoned storm vermin, but otherwise this is the first time, and certainly the first time in such large numbers. We'll see how effective they are. And look at the Council Guard, damn. These guys look pretty amazing. They also would probably fit more with the MORS colors, but still, pretty damn nice. Alrighty, well, we'll see how these guys all fare. And oh, I guess this is also the first use of the Death Globes as well, who are just amazing as well. But you gotta be careful with these guys, because they will kill all your own Storm Vermin if you're not careful. Anyway, we have begun the battle by having our Warp Lightning Cannons target the enemy mortars here, though by the looks of it, Warp Lightning Cannons are not very good at doing this. I would have thought that even if they're not so good at destroying crews, they should at least be decent at destroying individual mortar models, but they don't seem to be. A little bit unfortunate in that regard, but I suppose not much we can do about it. Well, actually there is something that we can do about it, and that thing is we're going to switch the Warp Lightnings to target other things, while our Jezzails will instead target the mortars. A single volley from the Jezzails takes these guys down to about half HP, and they're already almost crumbling. And in fact, the Jezzails seem to actually be killing models of mortars, whereas the Warp Lightnings are failing, which is kind of dumb. I feel like destroying individual models of enemy artillery pieces should be something that the Warp Lightnings should be ideal for. But anyway, looks like the Jezzails are superior at it. I do like those Jezzails. On the bright side, our mortars, as we can see, have been firing on the depth guard. Or not the mortars, the Warp Lightnings. The Jezzails had actually started firing on the depth guard first before switching to the mortars because we needed to do so. But while the enemy army is quite softened up already, and by the time it gets to us, we're not really targeting the Rotting Leviathans as much though, because I'd really like the Giants to fight those guys a little bit. This is why we've deployed the Giants forward completely in front of our army, as where normally they would be standing pretty much together with the Storm Vermin so that they don't get focused down by a lot of enemy stuff. Alrighty, and the Storm Vermin are now moving forward as the enemy army approaches us, and we will be fighting them shortly. The last of the mortar kits are dropping them on the Jezzails, but the mortars are just about done, and the Jezzails will be switching targets as well. And I guess we'll be seeing a little bit of Depth Guard versus Storm Vermin action as well. A nice little front line. Yes, this is why it's nice to have a Clan MORS army. It also feels very different from the other armies we have. And there we go, the Giants are in, and they're going for the big crabby boys, whereas the Death Globes are attacking zombies. It does look like this Giant in the center is being focused down by the Gunnery Mob and these hand cannons, which is kind of dangerous and probably why it's already taken quite a bit of damage. You gotta be careful with that. The Death Globes are also probably hitting it quite a lot, though I don't imagine they'll be doing a crazy amount of damage at the very least. They will be destroying that Pirate Deckhands mob. Over here, this Giant is basically one-on-oneing this Rotting Leviathan, which is exactly what I wanted out of this battle, and our Storm Vermin are now moving forward and are doing pretty good by the looks of it against the remnants of the enemy Depth Guard. We are also repeatedly switching targets with our poison, or not poison globadiers, but Death Globes, because once again we don't want them splash hitting our Storm Vermin. Alrighty, there's the Storm Vermin versus the Depth Guard, and, well, the Depth Guard are much better against trash infantry than they are against the more elite infantry, I should say. There's like a word for medium infantry in the sense that Storm Vermin are elite in Skaven infantry standards, but they're not elite by other infantry standards. Plus, I believe Depth Guard got a buff relatively recently, so they should be better than they were before as well. Armor piercing is only at 20, which is what gives them the problems against heavily armored targets like this. Also, our Lord is currently in the middle of a battle against the enemy Vampire Fleet Admiral. Giants are fighting crabs, Lords are fighting Lords, Storm Vermin are fighting Depth Guard, and I'm really happy with this battle so far. Not because any of this is necessary, mind you. We could have absolutely sniped the Admiral and not had our Giants engage in the front like this, but this is making me enjoy the battle so much more. Alright, good job, Warlord. This is what you're here for, buddy. And it looks like one of the enemy Rotting Leviathans has broken through our lines and is currently fighting the Storm Vermin, not doing a crazy amount of model kills to them, but it is a little bit annoying, and thus all of our Jezzails have now started to focus this thing down and should bring it down fairly quickly. It looks like our Lord is actually winning the fight in a one-on-one against the enemy Admiral by the looks of it due to his higher melee attack and surprisingly higher weapon strength as well, though, by the looks of it to lower armor piercing. And higher armor as well. Good job, Corporal. I'll be excited to see how powerful you are when you're fully leveled up. Now, this little one-on-one does appear, well, not a one-on-one so much anymore, appears to be going in the favor of our Giant, but what an epic clash. And I like the little sync animations when things get staggered and the Giant models fight each other. But unfortunately, all good things have to come to an end, as the enemy, I do believe, is now in the crumbling state. And there we go. It wasn't a very long crumbling state, as the enemy has been defeated. Looks like we got what we wanted out of that fight, and it was a pretty fun one. Decisive victory and a nice little debut. Let's see what the actual damage is. I think the central Giant was really the main casualty, the one that was getting attacked by enemy ranged units, but otherwise nothing really too concerning, and we should still be healthy enough to attack Kofor. Alrighty, not too bad. We got our completely necessary, I swear, duels between the rotting leviathans and the giants. One of the giants got pretty badly beat up, but that was, I believe, primarily due to taking continuous fire from, I think, one of the hand cannon mobs, not just damage from the leviathans, who didn't dish out nearly as much damage. Also, a little bit disappointed, I gotta say, in the warp lightning cannons. It seems like the warp log Jezzails are just plain better, and the warp lightning cannons were completely unable to kill the enemy mortars, though I suppose plate claw catapults would be better at that. I'm almost starting to think it might be better to just replace these two units, these two warp lightnings, with even more Jezzails. Granted, there is a veterancy difference, but I think with both of the, not using warp lightning cannons at all, we wouldn't have to dip into the artillery tree, and it's not like Corporal has boom masters, so yeah. I'll think about it. Certainly a possibility. Most of the damage came from either our death globes and our Jezzails, which is about as expected. The storm vermin held the line quite well. Our lord also got that little duel with the enemy lord. And the giants got their duels as well. Though, of course, the giants are actually supposed to be in our battle lines, but, you know, in the name of fun and all that. Let's heal up a little bit. We are going to an enemy territory. Unfortunately, this won't heal our giants, but not a huge deal. And it's a 20k we want, and hopefully a buff as well, if possible. World's Edge armor, damn. Not so great, and it's a common item as well. How about giving us another materials at sea, or the army something buff or something like that. But oh well, eventually. Now I guess we are free to move you in march stance forward. This is contested sea, so I don't believe we will heal here. And we're not close enough to a sea that'll heal here, but that's okay. We will land at Kofur next turn. I don't believe a single relatively weak army of Skellies has any kind of chance of standing up to this army, though if they attack with both, there is potential for a better battle. Anyway, unfortunately with that we are out of time, and I'm going to have to call it here. The war continues in the south next time, as we will declare war on the followers of Nagash and start destroying them there. Reikland looks to be pretty much dead, which I suppose is the right time, as we will be fighting Vlad from now on as well, and I do believe Vlad is fighting quite a few factions, though he is quite strong at strength rank 6. And our reliability is medium. That's interesting. Something we did, I guess entering war on the side of our ally, counts as breaking an alliance. I'm not entirely sure what did that, though. Why would that kill our reliability? Annoying, but it is what it is. Plus, we're Skaven. Just out of curiosity, what did this do to our likelihood of confederating Clan Molder? Minus 54. Still relatively low. Actually, extremely low considering they appear to have lost almost all their armies. Yeah. We'll need to trade them. Wait, we can't trade them a settlement to confederate them. We have to pay them money, and I imagine they won't do it for the money that we currently have to offer. Well, hopefully we'll just keep building our relationship with them and continuing to, and they will continue to take losses. Anyway, stay tuned for more rats. Some great battles possibly to come, as there is a massive stack of the Great Orthodoxy to fight for us, as well as all the new battles against the Tomb Kings and the Vamps that we're about to get shortly. Don't forget to leave a like and comment, whatever else I usually say. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.